Hello, my friend. Welcome back to Mama Magma Yoga. My name is Tamu. Today's video is all about yoga for pelvic health. So if you suffer from painful menstruation, or you suffer from regular UTIs, or you just want to increase blood circulation and nervous system function throughout your hips and down into your lower body, this is going to be a great practice for you. It will also help stimulate digestion and just overall gut and intestinal health. So I invite you to come down to the ground. We're going to start right on our backs. So you're going to come all the way down to the floor. Center yourself on your yoga mat. Allow yourself to roll down to your back. Let yourself start to get settled. Feel that lower back press into the earth. And you're going to bring your feet as wide as your yoga mat. So the edges of your feet come to the edge of your yoga mat. And then you're going to allow your knees to fall into center. We're finding a constructive rest pose here. Rolling our shoulders away from our ears, wiggling the lower back around until it feels nice and comfortable and supported on the earth. And then we'll just bring both hands right to the lower belly and let ourselves settle in here for a moment. Perhaps you close your eyes or soften your gaze, relax your jaw, start to allow the breath to settle and calm, and feel supported on your back body by allowing the earth to rise up to meet you. I invite you to just take a couple breaths here, sending some positive healing energy to the lower pelvic region, noticing how you feel, letting yourself just arrive into your practice. We're just going to take a couple more breaths here, allowing ourselves to calm and to settle in. Last breath here. And when we're ready, we're going to take our time. We're going to open our eyes. We're going to separate the knees, keeping the feet where they are. We'll take a nice deep breath in as we allow the palms to flow face up beside us. And on an exhale, we're allowing both knees to fall to the left. Ooh, you're going to feel that right knee drive down towards the earth and towards the bottom left corner of the mat. Relax those shoulders. Let the hips start to soften. If you would like to, you can extend your arms out past your crown, just helping to find more of a stretch in that right hip, through the psoas, all those ligaments and tendons, letting the body relax. Flex through your toes just to protect the knees. And if you would like to, you can cross your left ankle over the top of your right knee or thigh. Now, if your knees say no, or your hips say no, just come back to allowing both knees to fall to the left, keeping those feet nice and wide and flexing through the toes. Just a couple more breaths here. Nicely done. Then we'll float the arms back down. And when we're ready, we're lifting those knees back up through center. Resettle the lower back if you need to. And when we're ready, we'll take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, we'll just allow both knees to fall to the right. So we're letting that left knee drive down towards the floor and towards the bottom right corner of the mat. Again, flexing through our toes to protect our knees, maybe extending the arms out past the crown, and perhaps crossing the right ankle over the top of the left knee or thigh. Remember that this is not required, and that if your knees or your hips say no, then just allow yourself to come back to bus stop number 1. Just a couple of breaths here, letting those hips relax, getting that stretch in that left hip, letting the shoulders soften, relaxing through the jaw. Nicely done. When we're ready, we'll float those arms back down, float the knees back up through center. Wiggle the feet into the midline, and when we're ready, we're hugging the right knee into the chest. You can keep that left knee bent and the left foot on the floor, or you can extend that left leg out long, just promoting a nice gentle stretch in the front of that left hip crease. Go ahead and rotate the ankle, maybe peel the nose up towards the knee, engaging the core a little bit. Just take one more breath here. Then if you lifted the head, we're going to bring it back down to the earth, letting the upper body relax. We're going to open the right knee out towards the right shoulder. So you want to start to feel a nice stretch on the inner right thigh, opening through that pelvis. You can rock the knee a little bit, maybe find some half circles. Maybe press your left hand into your left hip crease. Keeping that left hip grounded down to the floor. So we're trying not to roll onto that right hip at all. And then we can stay here. If this is enough for us, great. If we want more, we're going to bring the right hand to the inside of the right knee or thigh and see if we can grab the top of the right shin, maybe use our peace fingers to grab onto the big toe of the right foot, or maybe we grab onto the arch of the right foot. Now this might be enough for you, keeping the knee nice and bent and the thigh relaxing down towards the floor. Big stretch already. If we want a little bit more, maybe we start to bring that right knee to a 90-degree angle, just shining the sole of the right foot up towards the ceiling. You can always change the position of your hand. Maybe your hand is on your shin and you're holding here. Maybe you're grabbing onto the big toe with your peace fingers. And then we're just letting that leg relax down towards the floor as much as we can to the outside of the right shoulder. Breathing nice and deep. Maybe closing those eyes again. Just a couple more breaths here. Nicely done. Let's go ahead and release that leg. Bring the knee back into the midline. Hug it in towards the chest. Maybe peel that nose up once again. And then we'll set that right foot down and readjust our lower back and hug the left knee into the chest. Again, you can keep the right knee bent, the sole of the right foot on the earth, whatever feels good to you, or you can extend that right leg out long. Take your moment here to rotate that ankle, to peel the nose up, to take a breath and settle into the pose. Let the body get used to being here. And then when we're ready, we're opening that left knee out to the side, seeing if we can take it towards that left shoulder and out towards the left side of our body. Now remember, maybe this is enough for you. If you're getting a really big stretch already, I invite you to just stay here, maybe pressing your right hand into your right hip crease, keeping both hips nice and grounded on the floor. And then if you want to expand, once again, you're taking the left hand to the inside of the left leg, grabbing the top of that shin or the big toe with your peace fingers, or maybe grabbing onto the arch of the foot, really getting more of a stretch here. And perhaps we keep that knee bent, or perhaps we start to shine the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling and get more of a stretch, letting that thigh relax down, maybe finding some traction between hand and foot and pulling that thigh down towards the floor, towards the outside of our left shoulder. Keep that breath nice and long if you can. Soften through your jaw. Let your head relax. Maybe close those eyes. Let's just take one more nice deep breath here together. Inhale in. And a long breath out. You've got this. Beautiful. Hug the knee back into the chest. Maybe you peel your nose up again, engaging your core. And then we're going to allow that left foot to come to the earth. We're going to go ahead and bend the right knee. So both feet are on the earth. Your feet are about hip width distance apart, so there's a bit of space between them. We're hiking the heels up towards the sits bones, and we're going to rotate our palms face up beside us, really tucking the shoulders down and away from the ears. And when we're ready, we're going to inhale, lift the bum up towards the sky, pushing the hips towards your ceiling, really engaging the glutes. And on an exhale, we'll slowly let it roll back down. Twice more, just like this. Inhale, lift, engage the glutes, push the hips up towards the sky. Exhale, roll it all the way back down. Nice. Listen carefully. On this one, we're lifting the hips, pushing them up towards the sky, and we're going to hold here. So you could really roll your shoulders underneath you. You could interlace your fingertips behind your tailbone and drive your arms down into the earth, seeing how far you can lift those hips, engaging those glutes. And then we're seeing if we can find space between our chin and our chest. So take your gaze up towards the ceiling and then back a little bit, seeing if you can find some nice space in your throat, pushing into those feet. And one more breath here. Nicely done. Release the bind if you took it, and as slow as you can go, roll down through the staircase of your spine. See if you can feel one vertebra at a time. Gently lowering back down. Eventually that lower back is going to make its way to the earth, and hopefully you feel a nice sweet release as that lumbar and sacral spine ground down to the earth. Nicely done. Let's roll to one side, any side. Push ourselves all the way up, and we're going to come forward onto all fours, finding our tabletop position. You've got this. So wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hip points, and then we're going to take a puppy posture. So we're going to walk our palms past our shoulders a little bit, finding that awkward space between the heel of the palm and the knee. And then we're going to try to drop our shoulders try to drop our elbows, not our shoulders, right down where our palms were, keeping the forearms parallel, the palms face down, fingertips spread nice and wide. We're going to inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift your tailbone up towards the sky. See if you can feel a hollowing in the lower belly and in your pelvic region. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, sink back into your hips. Allow your heart to melt down towards the earth, and your forehead maybe come towards the floor. You're wanting to keep those hips over those knees. So if your bum is all the way back on your heels, I invite you to lift yourself up and walk your elbows forward or your knees back, and then settle back into the pose, seeing if you can really allow the heart to melt down, the belly to find a hollowing, the tailbone to lift up towards the sky, and engage that lower core a little bit. So hug the navel in towards the spine and allow yourself to breathe here. One more nice deep breath. Nicely done. We're going to come forward onto our elbows first and then rise back up to our palms, finding our tabletop position. Take a breath. And then we're going to step our right foot up to the outside of our right hand. So right foot steps up to the outside of the right hand. We're finding a lizard pose here. We're allowing the hips to drop forward and down. We're seeing if we can lift the chest to start here, roll the shoulders back because we want the hips to rock forward. Finding a nice length in the lower back, so the lower back is nice and flat, shoulders are rolled back. Now maybe you stay here, maybe this is a lot for you, maybe you just rock the hips side to side. If you feel like you could deepen down into it, then you could once again bring your elbows down to the earth, letting yourself deepen into the pose. Now this might be a lot. Notice that you're going to lean into that left elbow more than the right. That's totally natural. If you want a little bit more, you can roll onto the outside of that right foot and allow the right knee to splay away from you, pushing out towards the right side of the room. And then allow yourself to breathe here. Taking one more nice deep breath. Gorgeous. Now, if you rolled onto the outside of that right foot, I invite you to make sure that the whole foot is once again planted on the earth. And we're going to see if we can curl the left toes under, so those back toes curl under, and see if we can lift that back knee. Whether you're up on your palms or down on your elbows, you're seeing if you can engage your core, lift your bum a little bit, push into both feet. We're not here for long. One more breath. Gorgeous. Keeping that back knee lifted, we're going to rise up onto our palms if we haven't already. Ground down through the left heel. Walk our fingertips off of the left side of the mat and dial the right toes in so that now we are in a nice wide-legged forward fold. Feel free to rearrange your feet to widen them or bring them closer together if you need to. Toes are pointing forward. Feet are parallel. Wrists start off right underneath your shoulders, finding a flat back position here, and see if you can widen through your sits bones. So just find that experience of seeing if you can push the bum back a little bit and widen through those sits bones, sending the sits bones up towards the sky. Now maybe this is great for you here. Whoops, my foot slipped. Or maybe we allow ourselves to bow down a little bit more, perhaps bringing the palms in line with the arches of the feet and letting the head completely relax down. Just taking 2 more breaths here. Nicely done. We're going to walk the palms back underneath the shoulders, finding a flat back position. Core is nice and engaged here. Ground down through the left palm underneath the nose. Right fingertips reach up towards the sky. We see if you can pull back with that right shoulder. Press into both feet. Gorgeous. Inhale in here. Exhale, float those fingertips down. Now we're seeing if we can come into a low lunge on the right side. So we're walking our hands towards our right foot, dialing our right toes forward, framing that right foot with both hands, and then lowering that left knee back down to the earth. Step the right foot back, find your tabletop position, curl your toes under, and lift it up to a downward facing dog. Dance those feet around until they're about hip width distance apart. Remember, the heels can stay lifted, the knees can stay bent. In fact, I invite you to do so here and see if you can really send your tailbone up towards the ceiling, tilting that pelvis forward and lifting up through your sits bones, hollowing through the belly, pushing the earth away from you, really strong in the shoulders, really strong in the palms. One more breath. Nicely done. Let's lower those knees back down to the earth. We've got it here, finding our tabletop position. Getting ourselves nice and set up once again, readjusting our shirt if we need to. And then we're going to step forward with the left foot to the outside of the left hand. So get settled here. Allow those hips to drop forward and down. Flatten through the lower back. Lift the chest. Roll the shoulders back. Feel that nice stretch in the right hip crease, in the top of the left hamstring. Now remember, this could be where you stay. Gorgeous. Allow your body to tell you what it needs. If you're looking for more, we can lower down to our elbows and see how we feel here. Maybe we're leaning into that right elbow a little bit more than the left. That's totally normal and natural. It happens for me as well. And we're breathing here, seeing if this is where we'd like to stay, or if we'd like to roll onto the outside of that left foot and splay that left knee away from us. So take your moment here. Feel into what feels good in your body. Let the muscles start to adapt and to stretch and to open. Try not to leave your breath behind. Nicely done. Now, if you rolled onto the outside of that left foot, we're going to make sure that left foot is nice and grounded on the earth. So the whole foot is on the earth. We're curling the back toes under and lifting that back knee, engaging the core, engaging the legs. Remember, you can be up on your palms here. You can be down on your elbows. See if you can take one more breath. Nice. If you came down to your elbows, we're going to join our friends up on our palms. We're going to ground down through the right heel, walk our hands off of the right side of the mat, dial the left toes in, rearrange our feet so that we feel nice and comfortable in our wide-legged forward fold, bringing those palms underneath the shoulders, first finding a flat back position, seeing if we want to stay here. Maybe we rock the hips side to side on this one. And then maybe we allow the crown to come down towards the floor, bring our palms in line with the arches of our feet, and allow ourselves to be here for a moment. Remember, you have agency in your practice, so you could sway side to side. You could rock the hips side to side. You're trying to spread those sits bones up towards the sky. Really feel an opening in that lower body as my foot slides around on my mat. So make sure you feel nice and grounded. Adapt as you need to. Let's take one more breath here together. You've got it. Walk those palms back underneath those shoulders. Find your flat back position, pushing the earth away. We ground down through the right palm underneath our nose and the left fingertips reach up towards the sky. Pull back with that left shoulder. Reach, 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 reach. Inhale in here. Exhale, float it all the way down. Coming back to our low lunge. We're walking our hands towards our left foot, bending the left knee, dialing the left toes forward, framing that left foot with both hands and lowering the right knee back down to the earth. When we're ready, we'll step that left foot back, find our tabletop position, ground down through our palms, curl our toes under, and lift our hips up high and back. Once again, finding that downward facing dog. Once you feel secure in your palms, you're making sure your feet are hip width distance apart. Maybe this time you're dialing your toes in a little and your heels out. Maybe once again you're bending your knees and seeing if you can practice sending that bum way up towards the sky, spreading those sits bones apart as much as you can. Push into the earth, strong in the shoulders, strong in the hands. One more breath. Nice. Lower the knees back down to the earth. Adjust your shirt if you need to, finding your tabletop position. And then we're going to swing the legs to one side, any side. Come to our seat. Send our legs out long in front of us. Heels walking down to the top of the mat so you have lots of mat behind you. And then we're going to take Dandasana. So we're pointing the toes up towards the sky, engaging the legs, driving the knees down. Legs are really engaged here. Then we're bringing our palms or our fingertips to the outside of our hips. So on either side of the buttocks. We're not leaning back into the hands. We want to engage the lower core. So we're sitting up nice and tall, lifting the sternum, rolling the shoulders back. All parts of the body are engaged here, but we're really allowing the belly button to hug towards the spine and the whole core is engaged. Roll those shoulders back. Take one more nice deep breath here. Nicely done. On your next inhale, reach the fingertips up towards the sky. And on an exhale, bend the knees if you need to, drape it forward, find a forward fold. Hands can land on shins, on the mat, or you can grab onto those toes and allow yourself to soften down, forehead towards the knees. Let yourself sigh it out. Catch your breath if you need to. Relax that jaw. Last breath here. Nicely done. When you're ready, slowly rise on up. Find your way back to a nice tall seat. And then we're going to come to bound angle. Soles of the feet together, knees open nice and wide. We're finding a nice tall seat, so wiggle that bum around, engage that core, lift those the sternum and roll the shoulders back. We're going to see if we can play with a little bit of a boat practice here, really engaging the core. So first, hug your navel towards your spine, lift up nice and tall through the sternum, and then take your hands and see if you can weave them underneath your legs, so underneath your knees. So through that gap in your legs. Beautiful. We're going to see if we can here lean back. So walk your feet back towards your sits bones and then see if you can lean back and lift the feet up off of the earth. Woo! Engage that core. Keep the chest lifted, the shoulders rolled back. Maybe we see if we can lift those feet a little bit more. Lift, lift, lift. Ooh, you've got it. Ooh, try not to roll onto your tailbone too much or the lower back. Keep that chest lifted, those shoulders rolled back. You've got this. Maybe you flex through the feet or roll those ankles. Find a distraction from everything that's engaged. One more breath here. Nicely done. Let the feet come down, unravel the arms. Hook your elbows onto your knees and let yourself soften for a moment. Catch your breath. Nicely done. When you're ready, we're going to bring the arms behind us or the hands behind us. Fingertips can face away from you or towards you, whatever works better in elbows, wrists, and shoulders. We're going to keep that left foot on the floor, the left knee bent. Maybe you need to send it out a little bit more. That's okay. We're going to cross the right ankle over the top of the left knee or thigh, letting the right knee splay away from us. Now we may have had to start down here and then we start to bend that knee more. Now you're going to see what happens when you let yourself relax and collapse your chin towards your chest. And the spine rounds. There's not much activation here. We're not feeling a whole lot. So we're going to see what happens when we lift the chest and roll the shoulders back and engage the core. All of a sudden we feel a lot more engagement, a lot more of a stretch. That pelvic floor is really engaged. We're pushing into our hands. Maybe we rock the knees a little bit side to side. But you're trying to keep that sternum lifted, the core engaged, and the shoulders rolled back, pressing into the heel of the palm. Maybe if your wrists are really feeling it, you try to drive down through your knuckles more. One more breath here. Nice. Let the upper body soften. Unravel the legs. Send them out long again if you need to. Readjust the lower back and your sits bones. Then we'll go ahead and bend the right knee. Remember, it can be just slightly bent or it can be a little bit closer towards your chest. Then we're crossing the left ankle over the top of the right knee or thigh. Now let the upper body relax here for a moment. And maybe this is enough for you. That's okay. It's okay if you stay here. But if you want to engage a little bit more and do more for that pelvic health, we're going to see if we can lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, and really press into our hands. Notice the difference. There's a big difference in terms of the stretch and the engagement. And you can try both. You could come in and out of it, letting yourself experiment, feeling around, pushing down into that right foot. We're just taking one more breath here. Nicely done. Let the upper body relax. Unravel that left leg. Come off of the hands. Rotate the wrists if you need to. Massage the elbow creases. Maybe shake it out. And when you're ready, we're going to center ourselves on our mat again. And we're going to roll all the way down to our backs. Send the legs out long or keep the knees bent. Whatever works for you. Find your way into your version of Shavasana. Really making sure that lower back feels nice and grounded to the floor, that the shoulders are rolled away from the ears. And maybe once again, we bring our hands to our lower belly, right into the pelvic region, right above your pubic bone. And we just allow ourselves to breathe here for a moment and find stillness. Relax your jaw, soften through your forehead. Let the body melt into the earth. Just a couple more breaths here. Now you can stay here for as long as time allows. If you're ready to get up and off of your mat, I invite you to just bring the palms together. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring the thumbs to the third eye. Send yourself an intention for the day. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I can't wait to see you next time. Don't forget to hit that like button and give me a follow so that you can see more content up on my page. I love you so much. I'll see you next time, my friend.